Your brain is designed to make your anxiety worse, not better, worse. And the scariest part? The harder you try to calm it down, the more damage you're actually doing. And I know that sounds like the opposite of everything you've ever been told, but stick with me here. Because once you see how this actually works, you can't unsee it. Most people spend years, sometimes their entire lives, fighting their anxiety like it's some kind of enemy that snuck into their brain uninvited. And the whole time, the fighting is literally what's keeping it alive. That's not a metaphor. That's actually how it works. And by the end of this, you're going to see exactly why, and more importantly, what to actually do about it. Okay, so have you ever tried really hard not to think about something and then thought about literally nothing else? Like your brain got a sticky note that said, do not think about the thing, and just lost its mind. You sit down to finally relax, and suddenly you're doing a full mental replay of every slightly awkward thing you've said since 2019. That one dinner party comment, that email you sent too fast, that moment you laughed at the wrong time. And the wild part? You don't even know what you're anxious about anymore. It's just there. This low hum, this background noise you've carried around so long you've almost started to think it's just you. It's not you, it's a loop, and you're stuck in it. Here's what nobody tells you about anxiety, and honestly, this reframe alone might change things for you. Anxiety isn't a glitch. It's not your brain malfunctioning. It's your brain doing exactly what it was built to do: protect you. The problem is, your brain is kind of bad at telling the difference between a lion chasing you through a field and a text message that hasn't been replied to. Biologically, same response. Heart rate up, thoughts racing, body tight, every internal alarm going off at once. Your nervous system genuinely cannot tell the difference between real danger and a scene with no reply. Crazy, right? So the loop starts with a trigger. And here's the thing, it's almost never something huge. It's tiny. A shift in someone's tone, a task you've been quietly avoiding at work, a notification you don't want to open. That's it. That's the spark. But for people who struggle with anxiety, that tiny spark lands like a match on dry wood. One small thing, and suddenly the whole inside of your head is on fire. And psychology actually explains why. Anxious people often have what researchers call a hypervigilant nervous system. Basically, it's tuned to a higher sensitivity than average. And here's the part I really want you to sit with. That didn't happen because something's wrong with you. It happened because at some point, usually pretty early in life, your brain learned that the world needed watching closely, so it became very good at watching closely. You notice things other people completely miss. You pick up on shifts in energy, tone, atmosphere, things most people are totally oblivious to. Honestly, that's not a weakness. That's a kind of perception most people don't have. The exhausting part isn't the sensitivity itself, it's what happens after the trigger lands. Because then comes the story. And oh man, anxious brains are incredible storytellers, like genuinely gifted. Your friend is a little quiet today? Clearly they're furious with you. Your boss sends a 2-line email? You're probably getting fired. You forgot to text someone back? You've likely destroyed the friendship forever. Cognitive psychology calls this catastrophizing, jumping from one uncertain moment straight to the absolute worst possible ending. And it happens so fast you don't even clock it. One second you're reading a message, the next second you're mentally scripting an apology for something that hasn't happened and probably never will. I'll be honest, I find this kind of darkly funny. The sheer creativity of it. If anxiety wrote novels, every single one would be a thriller. Every single one. And the plot would always be about you specifically losing everything. But here's where it gets really interesting. After the story comes the part that actually locks the loop in place: avoidance. And look, avoidance makes complete sense. Something feels threatening, you pull back from it. That's not a character flaw, that's just human. You put off the hard conversation. You don't open the email you're dreading. You cancel the plans you actually wanted to go to because your nervous system just couldn't do it that day. And in the moment, it works. The tension drops. You breathe again. Relief is real. So your brain goes, noted, avoidance equals safety, filing that away for next time. But here's the catch, and this is the part that really matters. Research shows that avoidance shrinks anxiety short term, but grows it long term. Every time you avoid the thing, you are essentially sending your brain a quiet little confirmation, yeah, that thing was actually dangerous, good call. And your brain believes you. So next time the alarm goes off louder, the world gets a little smaller, the list of things that feel manageable gets a little shorter, the loop tightens. And you never get the chance to find out that you could have handled it, that you were always more capable than the anxiety gave you credit for. And then, this is the part that genuinely gets me, comes the self-criticism. After the avoidance fades, most people don't think, okay, my nervous system was overwhelmed, that makes sense. They think, what is wrong with me? Why can't I just be normal? Why do I make everything so much harder than it has to be? And here's the gut punch. That inner critic voice, it doesn't calm the anxiety. Dr. Kristen Neff's research on self-compassion shows this clearly. Self-criticism fires up the exact same threat response system as the anxiety itself. You're not putting out the fire, you're pouring fuel on it. So the full loop looks like this: trigger, story, avoidance, shame, more anxiety, repeat, quietly, relentlessly, in the background of a life that from the outside might look completely fine. And the really cruel part is that the loop is self-sustaining. It doesn't need any help from the outside world. It runs entirely on its own, powered by the very attempts you make to shut it down. So what do you actually do with this? Okay, so the first thing, and I can't stress this enough, is just to see it, not fix it, not overhaul your whole psychology in a week, just name it. Because there's something genuinely powerful about recognizing a pattern as a pattern, not a personality flaw, not proof that you're broken, just a cycle doing what cycles do. Next time you feel that familiar spiral kick in, try asking yourself quietly, is this the loop? That's it. Because the second you can observe it, you're not fully inside it anymore. There's a tiny gap between you and the anxiety. And in that gap, there's a choice, a real one. The second thing is harder, but it's where the actual change happens. You have to start slowly, gently, no pressure, nudging back against the avoidance. Not by throwing yourself into your worst fears all at once, just small things. Open the email. Have the smaller version of the hard conversation. Show up to the thing you nearly canceled. Every single time you do that, you're handing your brain new evidence. Evidence that contradicts the story it told. Evidence that says, hey, actually, we survived that. It's not glamorous work. It's not a breakthrough moment. It's just slow, quiet, real rewiring. And it works. Slowly, steadily, genuinely, it works. And the third thing, talk to yourself like you'd talk to someone you actually love. Because here's the truth. The anxiety loop can't really survive compassion the way it survives criticism. When you meet the spiral with curiosity instead of contempt, something loosens. Not immediately, not dramatically, but genuinely. And over time, that shift in how you speak to yourself is one of the most quietly powerful things you can do. Look, the anxiety loop is not a life sentence. It's a pattern. And patterns change. Not because you fought hard enough, not because you shamed yourself into being different, but because you finally understood what was happening. Because you stopped treating anxiety like an enemy and started treating it like information, a signal, not a sentence, something your brain is sending you, not something your brain is doing to you. You've probably been carrying this quietly for a long time, handling it alone, explaining it away, wondering why it keeps coming back no matter what you try. And if you're still watching right now, something in you is ready to see it differently. That readiness, don't underestimate it. Most people never get this far. The fact that you're here, still listening, still trying to understand yourself, that's not nothing. That's actually everything. If any of this felt like it was written about you specifically, subscribe. Come back the next time your mind needs a moment to breathe. Because you deserve more than just coping. You deserve to actually understand yourself. And that understanding, quiet as it is, changes things.